Hello, Romania. Hello, Bucharest. My name is Hallgrimur Helgason. I'm a writer in Reykjavik, Iceland, and I'm greeting you from my studio. And this has been a difficult time, I know, for you also. Maybe more difficult than for us. It's a small country, and we have sort of managed well with the coronavirus. And now there are no people infected anymore, and so we can move about freely. So we're almost starting to forget about it. Not totally. I want to talk about this book, and I want to start by thanking you guys in Romania for receiving this book so well. I think Romania is the country that I've had the best reaction in. It's amazing how much reaction I've gotten from Romania. People are writing to me, people are posting on Instagram. I see it all over the place, and this is really nice to hear. And I'm sort of took me by surprise. I didn't know what to expect. This is my first book published in Romania, so I didn't know what would happen. But something special happened, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm asking myself, why do Romanian people like this book so much? Maybe they are, well, usually my humor goes well down in Eastern Europe, and well, maybe you're just more clever than other people, I guess. I wrote this book, it came out in Iceland in 2011. It's based on a real story, a true story. It's based on a woman that I accidentally met by telephone. I was helping my ex-wife. She's a politician. We were in an election campaign, and she took me down to the headquarters of the Social Democrats in Reykjavik, and there they handed me a list of telephone numbers in one street in Reykjavik, all the numbers in this street, asked me to call people up and ask them to vote for the Social Democrats. And so I started, and the number 3 on the list was an old lady living in a garage. This 80-year-old woman living in a garage in the east part of Reykjavik. And she told me right away, no, I'm not gonna vote for those fucking communists. So I was intrigued by her and thought she was really interesting and clever and funny. And I ended up talking to her, even though she was not gonna vote. And in the end, I totally forgot about this election campaign, and I was only talking to her all night long. She was telling me everything about her life in the garage, how she was teaching Icelandic to people overseas in Argentina, Indonesia, and managing her internet accounts and emails. And she told me the difference between Yahoo and Google. Yahoo is a much better search machine. She told me, so I was like, wow, she knows everything. And I thought maybe I could write a novel about a woman like that. But then I forgot about it, and I just finished my other novel. And 2 years later, I wanted to go and maybe see her in the garage. But then I found out that she had passed away, sadly. So I never met her. I only had this phone conversation. But then I did some research, and I found her name, and she had published her autobiography in 1983, and called a book called 11 Lives, because she had been all over the world, living with many men and children, with many men in many relationships. So she had, in fact, had 11 lives. In my book, it's similar, I guess, a little bit less even, and. So I came across a huge material for a novel. I found out that her grandfather was our first president, and her father fought with the Nazis in World War II. He also had published a biography, so lots of material for a very juicy novel. And then I decided to go for it, even though I wasn't sure if I was allowed to do it. But if I changed the name, I felt free. But it was hard to change the president's name, because it was kind of silly. If you would write a novel about Ceausescu and you would call him like Petrescu, it would be very strange. So I kept his name, and then all the people in Iceland knew I was writing about this family, and the family was not happy with it. Well, what's a long story? So it was a mini scandal, and but you know, sometimes you have to do things that people are not so happy about, and I just hope that she is happy with it, because she is now in heaven and she is the woman at 1,000 feet, and so what can I tell you? I wrote this story, it was published, and then it was translated, and generally speaking has been a success. It was a necessary story, I think, for the history of Iceland to tell this story. It sort of throws light on our lives in the 20th century, our destination, because the woman, you can say, is a little bit like Iceland. She is a little bit uprooted in her youth, and she loses contact with her past and her childhood, and she can never really find herself again. And this has sort of been our fate in the 20th century. We never know where to belong. Iceland was always a little bit of a lonely child in the North Atlantic. Did not know if it should be with the Americans or with Europe. We are not in the European Union, we are not a member of America, and we have our friends in Scandinavia. So this has always been an important question for us to ask. But first and foremost, I think the main character carries the story, because I was trying to write it like, give the woman some credit and justice, try to create a character that was up there with the voice that I heard over the phone back in the day. So I hope you will enjoy this book and tell some other people about it. And I say a very warm and thankful greeting, hello from Reykjavik, Iceland. Bye bye.